Hello, fabulous friends, fans, and superstars. My name is Dabney Lawless. I'm normally with the Lawless Astrology channel, but I am sitting in today for Nadiya Shah. Big moves happening in the sky, as Nadiya always says. Today, I'm going to be talking about Mars in the sign of Cancer. And we're going to look at all of the different signs and how this energy can impact you. So if this is content you're interested in, hope you stick around. So Mars just recently entered the sign of Cancer on September 4th. It'll be there and through November 3rd, and then it takes a little break, heads into Leo, and then we end up January 6th all the way through April 18th, 2025, back Mars in Cancer. So we've got a really long stretch here of this Mars in Cancer energy, and I think it's going to play a pretty significant role in our lives considering it's such a fast-moving planet. So let's first break down what Mars in Cancer is all about. Mars is our action planet. It has to do with how we assert ourselves. Very basically, Mars is the warrior. Everyone's got a Mars somewhere in their chart, and wherever Mars expresses itself for you is where you have to find your inner courage, where you have to gear up for battle, where you have to overcome obstacles. And so when Mars is transiting, whatever house it's transiting, whatever aspects it's making for you, it's triggering that point for you and kind of saying, hey, this is a time to challenge yourself. You need to get out there and find something that is going to bring forth your energy and your aliveness and your courage. So in the sign of Cancer, it's kind of an interesting energy because Mars has to do with assertiveness, right? And it's the warrior, but it's in its fall in Cancer. So it just doesn't totally feel comfortable there. But I'm going to talk about why it's actually kind of a beautiful energy to work with and how, if we work with it consciously, we can make a lot of progress in our own lives. So Cancer is the mother archetype. Cancer is the feminine. Cancer is the nurturer. So Cancer on the high side really is the protectress. And it is how we tap into our emotions. And if you think of the mother archetype, the healthy mother archetype, it is the most beautiful thing, the mother and child, right? The mother providing sustenance for her child. And so you put these two together, you kind of get the archetype, I think, of Artemis. Artemis is the goddess of the moon, and Cancer rules the moon. But Artemis is a huntress. She is the sister of Apollo, daughter of Zeus, and she is a hunter. And she is the protector of children and women. Okay, she's the protector of childbirth. So the high side of this archetype is really that mama bear, tapping into where you feel fierce on an emotional level. Mars in Cancer is going to be challenging all of us to find our emotional regulation. So the high side of Mars in Cancer is emotional maturity. It is protecting others. It is finding that fierce loyalty within and doing the right thing. Cancer is really known for being strong and taking care and protecting others and protecting from the standpoint of emotional maturity. That is the high side of Cancer and Mars. The low side would be much more like moody, temperamental, temper tantrums, like not being able to control your emotions. If you think of Cancer as the mother archetype, it also can be the child archetype and acting out. As much as we want to protect others, we also want to be protected. I personally am a Cancer, and I know this very well. So what you have to get into during this Mars in Cancer timeframe is the mindset that things may not be going your way all the time. And that is an opportunity to reflect on your own emotional maturity and how you can take a step back and center yourself and bring the healthy Artemis warrior energy to the forefront. Artemis was the protector of women and children and childbirth, but she also had kind of a vengeful streak to her. And if you crossed her, she was all about pestilence and giving you all kinds of problems. So If you find that you are wanting attention and you are desperately trying to get emotional care from other people, you may need to take a step back during this time and recognize that you're the only one that can give you that emotional care. That is the challenge that you're being given right now with Mars in Cancer, is how can you self-regulate? How can you nurture yourself? During the month of September, most of September, Mars in Cancer is going to be squaring the North and South node. The North node is in Aries and the South node is in Libra. And so what this is also, this additional piece of the puzzle, is asking us to look at the dichotomy of where we can get into codependence, where we can take care of others when maybe they are not looking to be taken care of, or maybe we are sacrificing ourselves to keep the peace. Or on the flip side, it could be, where are we rageful? Where do we have anger that is unprocessed and childlike that needs to be calmed, and we need to figure out a way to calm ourselves? And how do we do that kind of count to 10 when all we want to do is rage? So that's kind of the thing that's being activated almost on a karmic level. And I will be going through which of the houses this could be happening for you, but it's really good to be paying attention this month, in the month of September, to ways that you're getting triggered. So as we move further along into this journey with Mars and Cancer, Mars will be opposing Pluto. So here we're going to have another trigger point where we're going to be asked to get in touch with our woundings. Where have we felt powerless in our lives? And Mars is going to ask us to get in touch with that emotion. And with the Mars in Cancer, again, there's inner child work that needs to be done. There is therapy that needs to be done. This is the time to go deep. When Mars is opposing Pluto, emotions can run really, really high and hot. So this Mars opposing Pluto is asking you to check in on your wounds, and it's asking you to figure out places that you have been leaking energy, where your power is not fully your own because you are still trapped in an old story. Mars is challenging that old story. And when that happens, pain can come to the surface. So it's a time to really be careful. You may be emotional, and that's okay, but are you handling your emotions? You have to handle your emotions maturely at this time. Otherwise, you can be accident prone, or things can kind of come at you instead of you consciously working through things. For Aries Sun and Aries Rising, this is going to be taking place mostly in your 4th house, which means this is some opportunity for you to heal old family wounds or old familial patterns or old ancestral patterns. Places where you may be holding on to something that hurt you as a child. It could be something that's happening with your current family dynamic. So this is really an opportunity for you to have a more healthy way of interacting with your family or your past in some way. Taurus is the 3rd house, and 3rd house rules siblings and communication. So with this, for Taurus and Taurus rising, I really like the idea of you paying very close attention to how you are interacting with those that you grew up with, your siblings. Also, how you communicate. How do you express your emotions? When your emotions are getting the best of you, do you go in for the kill with a zinger, or are you someone that stuffs it down and refuses to talk? So this is an opportunity where you're going to be triggered and actually challenged to open up and give voice to whatever is going on that needs to be healed. Gemini is in the 2nd house, which has to do with places where we're insecure and undervalue ourselves. So is there some place where you have been really not confident? This is a time to find some opportunity to heal that wound. This also has to do with our values and our money. So this really gives you an opportunity to see, like, do you use money as an emotional crutch, like shopping? Or, are you somebody that really, holds on to money to the point where like you never let yourself have any fun. So this is all about healing some sort of wounding around some place where you need to feel more security, because the second house has everything to do with security. And that means, where are you insecure? But it also means your resources and what you need to feel safe financially. Cancer, it's in the first house. Cancer and Cancer rising in the first house. For you, this is going to be that much more potent because it's all about yourself. It's about you as an individual and how you express yourself, how you show up in the world, how you present. And so if you are walking around with a wound, or you, like I said before, Cancers do have a tendency to want to take care of everybody. And sometimes it's to our own detriment. And we need to learn how to separate that kind of codependent tendency and really kind of learn to nurture ourselves and allow ourselves to be taken care of. So maybe you just need to go and allow yourself to get massages on a weekly basis, or you need to allow yourself to sit and have some time to think quietly without, your husband watching football. Like, find a way to take care of yourself. Find that inner courage so you have time to think about how you want to show up for yourself in a healthy way. Leo is in the 12th house. So the 12th house often is what is hidden from us. So it might not be the most out there time for you. Leo sometimes, gets this reputation for being very extroverted and the leader. But with Cancer in the 12th house, there's an opportunity here for you to sit in meditation, to have reflect. Instead of being dramatic or having your problems be kind of out there for the world, this sort of inner wounding and inner child work is going to happen behind the scenes. This is going to be something a little bit more quiet and peaceful for you. And you're going to have to look at it and sort of surrender and allow the healing to happen versus trying to control it or being very fixed in the way that you think that things should be controlled. So this is an opportunity for you, Leo and Leo rising, to surrender a little bit and let some healing work, let the tears flow, let the emotions come like a wave and pass by. And that's going to be the healthiest way that you can kind of work on this and heal what needs to be healed with Mars and Cancer. The 11th house. So Virgo and Virgo rising is going to be the 11th house with this Mars and Cancer. So here's an opportunity for you to get in touch with your group, your tribe, your friends. This is a place where you can ask your friends to help you. Get perspective. This is also a place where you can be helpful for them, where you can tap into your protective nature for those around you in your community. I would also say the 11th house is a great opportunity for group therapy, especially with that Mars opposite the Pluto. And squaring the nodes. Like, this is a great time to kind of bounce things off of other people. You can't do it alone. Another suggestion with the 11th house, it rules social media. And there's some great videos on healing yourself. And I know Nadiya does wonderful work about tapping into something bigger than ourselves and the spiritual side of astrology. And so turn to social media, some of the videos that really do allow you to get in touch with your emotions. There are some great meditation videos and music that can help you really tap into your emotions. So I think this is a really good time to recognize that, get perspective through the help of others. With Libra and Libra rising, we're talking about the 10th house. So the 10th house has to do with your mission and your place in the world. So where have you been triggered at work? Where have you been triggered out in the world, right? So how are you perceived in a way that maybe is not truly authentic to you, and that's wounding in some way. So this is a place where you can kind of pull your resources together, find your inner strength, and stand up for yourself in a healthy way. Find your regulation, your emotional regulation when it comes to your work in the world and your mission. Scorpio and Scorpio rising The ninth house is where you will find your Mars in Cancer. So for you, this has to do with learning and travel and the law. So that's all the kind of big jumble of things that has to do with the ninth house, but it's also philosophies. And so where have you potentially been wounded, or do you find that you need to have a little bit more courage about your beliefs and what you stand up for? What makes sense to you in this world? How do you identify what is your philosophy? Have you been afraid to leave your home of origin or take that long journey over water? This is a really good time to kind of challenge yourself and recognize that there's going to be a healing opportunity for you by travel. Getting out into the world, seeing other cultures, meeting other people, and just getting a different perspective, that can help you tap into this sort of emotional healing that you need to do at this time. Sagittarius and Sagittarius rising, we're talking about the eighth house. So this one has so much to do with your deep, intimate relationships. So where do you need to heal when it comes to sex and grief and people that you have really, really close, intimate relationships with? You can look at places where you've been wounded in the past or potentially are still grieving from a loss. And there is an opportunity here to tap into your emotions and heal in a new way, to find the courage and find that emotional regulation. Where have you been acting out in an unconscious way? There is a real window of opportunity here for you to find a new path forward, to be as conscious as possible with the wounding that you've been dealing with, okay? So especially with this Mars opposite Pluto, you have to be really careful about not going deep enough, but going too deep that you go over the deep end. So it's about finding this balance of getting in touch with your emotions, bringing that content up to the light, and finding a nurturing path forward for yourself. Be gentle with yourself, because the eighth house can be very deep, but it can also be very tumultuous. So some really great suggestions for eighth house work is things like the tarot and astrology. That can kind of give you an oracle and give you some gentle suggestions for how to move forward in a way that's healthy and nurturing and healing. Capricorn and Capricorn rising, you're going to have Mars in Cancer in the 7th house. So this is going to have to do with your relationships, your partnerships, your friendships, your best friendships, and your marriage. So this is love relationships, people that you would say, I love you to. And it's an opportunity for you to explore the way in which you have a dynamic that may or may not be working for you. Where can you open the lines of communication with your partners and get to a healthy emotional state? Where can you mine the territory of what's hurt you in the past, or where maybe you've hurt someone else, and approach things from a more mature way? So this is a really good opportunity to not argue and fight, explore, bounce things off of one another, do your own inner work, and show up for yourself in an emotionally mature way, and then the other person hopefully will be able to meet you there. Aquarius and Aquarius rising. So in the 6th house, what we find sometimes is this is your daily habits and how you take care of yourself. So it's your exercise routine, it's your diet, it's how you show up and serve other people as well. But what I find often is when we have emotional material that hasn't been processed, it can affect our health in some ways. And so this is a really great time to find the courage to unleash some of that emotional baggage and put it down and step into a healthier way of being. And so it's also a way that you can nurture yourself. Find the courage to nurture yourself through a healthy diet, through healthy routines and habits like exercising or yoga and stretching or acupuncture. So these are all 6th house themes. And so this is a really good way for you to get in touch with anything that needs to be cleared out that is no longer serving you. Pisces and Pisces rising is in the 5th house, which has everything to do with play and self-expression and our children. So here's where we have an opportunity to mine anything that's happened to us around children and childbirth and fertility, and even our relationships with our children. This is a really good place to kind of figure out, where do you need to show up for yourself in a healthy way? Do you need to do some sort of creative art or something that has self-expression like dance or painting or poetry or music, where you can unleash your emotions in a way that's very unique to you? This is all about self-expression, and that's going to be the healthiest thing that you can do for yourself with this Mars in Cancer in the 5th house. So that's Mars in Cancer. Thank you so much for going on this journey with me. Thank you, Nadiya, for having me on your channel. And if you're interested in learning more about me, you can go to Lawless Astrology. I have a YouTube channel as well. And I'm just really grateful for Nadiya and everybody out there watching, because Mars in Cancer has a big role that it's going to play in our lives over the next few months. And so I think the more we can work with it consciously, the happier we'll be. So as I say on my channel, there is a reason and a season for it all, and the universe is conspiring to help us. So until next time.